Hello, so today we are going to do something a little bit different, which is solve some problems from exercism.com in Kotlin, of course. So this problem, I want to actually more focus on improving the code. So I solve it with the most intuitive way that it came to me first, and then what I want to do in this video is first look at that solution, but then try to improve it as much as we can and just see different variations and basically just learn Kotlin that way, okay? And improve at Kotlin that way. So let's say this problem says that we get a matrix, but we get it in a string format that looks like this. And what we want is to have two functions, one for the rows and one for the columns. The rows returns the rows basically, but as lists, with these being integer values of the list. And then columns similarly, but it will give it in a like column for each column. So for the rows function, it will give 987 list, and then 532 list, and then 667 list, and this would be a list of lists. And for columns, we will need to get 9, 5, 6 as the first column, right? 836 as the second, and 727 as the last one. And this would need to be a list of integer. Okay, so looks straightforward. If we look at so I just downloaded the exercism itself. You can use their client, and you can see what the string input looks like. It's just a string, right, where the rows are separated by this new line, and then the values are separated by space. And you can notice something here is that, so these are normal spaces, so that's fine. But in some cases, it's more than just one space. So you are not guaranteed that it's just one space. And so how did I solve it first? So the way I solved it is I just created this matrix, right, variable. Let me just... so I just created this matrix variable, and in the init function, because we get passed the matrix string as in the constructor, I just split it by new line. So this way we will get, if we just split this and look at the test for a second, 1 second here, let's look at that, let's have this be the test and this be the matrix, okay? So if you look at the test for a second, sometimes it's a new line, but other times it's just this one, but both cases should be covered by splitting with this, okay? And alternatively, if you want to, you could also use lines function, and this function here just splits the character sequence to a list of lines, okay? It can be either by these three separators, right? So we could also use that one. I'm going to stay with split for now. And then what we want to do is for each letter here, for each character, convert it to an integer, right? Because that's what Kotlin has. That's what the problem asks us to do. And so here, for each row, we map it, right? And we separate by a space. And then we map it to an integer, okay? And that should give us the list. Now, maybe if you were solving it, you did something like the old Java way and value of with x, and that's certainly valid, but with Kotlin, we do have these extension function for a reason, and so we should take advantage of them. And yeah, literally it just parses an integer. Okay, so that is just the initialization part. So with this step, we should have the matrix. So to get the rows, a specific row, it should be pretty easy, just index on it. To get the column, we just go through the rows, and for each one of them, we grab the element at that column position. Now, just one thing here, the tests actually give us these indices where the index starts at 1. And since we are using a list of lists here, we want the indexes to start at 0. So that's why we subtract by 1 here. Okay, so that's one improvement here. Now, just to show you different ways of doing this, you could do something like, instead of x to just do int, you could do something like string to int like this. And this should work fine. So if we run our test cases again, looks like there is a problem. 1 second. So we do map it to a string, to an int here. And then let's see, maybe there is an extra, yeah, there is an extra bracket here, and this should work fine now. So if we run this again, let's go to our tests, just run it again. All test cases pass. Okay. Another way that is actually more correct for this split is that I'm just splitting by one space, right? That turns out to work, but for some cases, let's say you want to be more accurate, you can do like a regex split. And so this will just represent that there are multiple spaces, and we just convert to a regex, and that should also split, because split you can pass it a regex expression, right? And so if we run this again, it should still work fine, and it does. Okay. And as I said, instead of doing this, you could also just do lines, so that should work in the same way. Let's run our tests again, and that works. Now another improvements we can do is actually, I don't need this init function here. I can just move this here and remove this, and basically make this just be equal, right? So this would be just something like this, and remove all of this init stuff, right? So that should work fine as well, and our map function would be like this. So if we run this, it still passes fine. Yeah, so that's, I think, pretty much it for this short video today. Stay tuned for future exercism videos. I think as we progress into the problem's difficulty, it should get more, we should learn more. Yeah, please like and subscribe, and see you on the next one. Bye.